Just got back from visiting Georgia with Dr. Silver. I also met Crista and her wife, whom I think I might have scared away. I guess it just doesn't end. Now I'm here in Connecticut again with Bettina. We decided to meet up with Courtney. We're just chilling at her place. She's even a fellow Sagittarian, and we're going to spend the night. So I just took Court for a ride in my convertible, and now I think I'm working my way towards pissing off Connecticut. I burned out of my parking spot, and it got her neighbors bitching. Then we went food shopping, and while I still have this stupid bandage across my chin. Meanwhile, I'm wearing this little black swirly dress, and some lady and her daughter kept staring at me in the supermarket, probably because of my ballooned up face. I had this Frankenstein-looking scar now across my neck, since faded, and they wouldn't stop gawking. So I kindly walked away, only to bump into them 3 more times. So I ultimately made a scene in there, too. Did I mention that I now have a surplus of pain meds? I'm telling you, they really make you see shit. Everything looks in 3D. Now I know that life is already in 3D, but I'm actually aware of it now because my vision is echoed back a little. My skin itches every time I take a pill, but it's all good. I guess one of the reasons I always act so wild when I first meet someone is to try and weed out the overly normal people from the get-go in order to save myself the time in getting to know someone who might later abandon me due to that energy and them not being able to handle it, which at times does kind of backfire, as I'm not entirely sure I ever saw Courtney again after this night. This was now our second trip to Connecticut. We were checking out a place we found on roommates.com. I think Bettina and I were trying to convince Courtney to let us move in with her. However, 2 factors came into play which ultimately prevented this from happening. The first being, she knew all too well of the problems which Bettina and I constantly shared. The second reason is that I most likely scared her away with my codeine-induced crazy talk. It wasn't going to be a problem, though. The place I found on roommates.com was almost definite. It just would have been a lot nicer to move in with someone we both knew. Now to the pain pills. This was the second time I'd be on these things in such a short period, surely planting the seeds for an upcoming addiction in the next few months. It wasn't really until after this particular set of surgeries that I realized just how much better I was feeling on them. Nummy. I wasn't fully addicted just yet, seeing as how I didn't even have a refill, but later convincing my doctor that they also helped with the constant electrolysis was fairly easy. The pain pills would soon be a reminder of the crazy times I once had and would ultimately become a gateway for which other substances would again pass through. Now, as for my time in Georgia. This photo is from my consultation which Dr. Silver took to show me how he can spice up my appearance beyond the Adam's apple removal. I had since faced facts about not being able to afford Dr. Ousterhout, so I was pretty much willing and ready to see what else Dr. Silver can do with the money I had set aside for such cosmetics. The pic on the left is how I looked before he touched me with any sharp objects. The pic on the right was what he could make me look like. He was showing me what a chin implant, facial liposuction, and a slight brow lift would look like, though I passed in the lift under the personal assumption that you could only get one really good lift before your face doesn't look right anymore, all stretched out Joan Rivers style. So then he showed me what an upper lip augmentation can do, though I chose to pass on that one as well. I only opted for the additional facial lipo and chin implant, so at the cost of a little over $7,000, I was again scheduled to go under the knife. I unfortunately don't have any black and blue pictures of myself this time, but I can tell you from memory that the chin implant was by far the most painful procedure you can imagine. The tracheal shave was just plain uncomfortable, whereas the lipo caused nothing more than a slight numbness for a day or two afterwards. All well worth it. Especially for these. Nom nom nom.